They have old Soviet-style voting methods here, big, giant clear boxes with ballots that you have to put in. It's not electronic, so I thought that was a little fishy.
Well, I thought it was strange that those who disagreed just stayed home and they boycotted the election.
I'm not. I don't know. I mean, all I can tell you is that there is a huge difference between when I very first got here and to now. People saying that they're very happy. I mean, the big slogan is now it's spring in Russia, spring here in Crimea, and now they belong to Russia. There were, for its part, Russia played a huge PR campaign here because Ukrainian TV was cut off, and they basically get here on the peninsula Russian TV. And, it was a PR campaign. Your neighbors in Kiev are fascists, they're Nazis, they're going to treat you poorly. And maybe the average Crimean bought into it, or maybe that's what they really wanted in the first place. But the end result is nearly 97%, at least according to Crimean officials.
The government, obviously, of Ukraine does not agree with this. The U.S., the European Union have all said that this is an illegal and destabilizing vote. What sanctions can we expect, and will that change anything?
Moscow's economic minister basically came out to say the other day that the sanctions will not have any effect on Russia. They're not going to target people like Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov because he needs to travel for talks, or President Putin. A lot of people, quite frankly, don't think that, Russia cares. The last time the United States basically slapped Moscow was with the Magnitsky list. There was an anti-corruption lawyer, Sergei Magnitsky, who had died in prison awaiting charges of tax fraud. And he had basically ratted out, allegedly, a bunch of Russian officials for a big tax fraud. And Russia responded 15 times harder than that by banning Americans from adopting Russian children. Not only did children suffer, but Americans who really wanted to adopt these children. So, Moscow, for its part, is basically shrugging its shoulders and saying, what else you got? I mean, they don't seem to be affected by this.
Jessica, we have a large Ukrainian population here in Chicago. It's called Ukrainian Village, and they're concerned that taking over Crimea is just the first step for Putin. What do you think will be his next move?
That is the million-dollar question. And the people in your neck of the woods, I understand where they're coming from. I think a lot of people are just shrugging their shoulders going, my goodness, what's happening? Who knows? I mean, no one really knows what Putin's plans are. Does this mean that people in eastern Ukraine, Donetsk, who are Russian-speaking, Kharkiv, do they want to join Moscow? It's a very slippery slope. Crimea, for its part, has basically pointed to a referendum that Kosovo participated in about 15 years ago, basically saying that, what happened here in Crimea is the same sort of thing, and it's not illegal, and Crimeans want to be with Russia. I don't know what's going to happen. Putin has come out to say that he's very concerned about the situation here in Ukraine, and that they don't want violence. They want what's best for the Ukrainian people. But here we sit with thousands of Russian-speaking troops in a peninsula that now effectively belongs to the former Soviet Union.
And it takes effect right away because this morning the Crimea Parliament voted to make their region an independent state.
Yes, ma'am. So basically all of the insignia that was on top of Crimea's parliament, the Ukrainian insignia, no longer effectively all of the property that was Ukrainian state property here now belongs to the Crimean Republic. It happened very quickly. It happened, and I've talked to a lot of Crimeans about this, and I say, okay, so you're for this, you want to be with Russia, but why did this happen now? Why is, if this is really something that you wanted, why is this happening now? And every single person that I talked to said, we don't care. We're just glad that we're with Russia. So, it's the elephant in the room. But at the end of the day, they voted, and it looks like they're going to be a part of Russia within the next couple of weeks, at least according to Russia's lower house of parliament. They're paving the way for complete integration.
Wow, because the currency will be phased out to the ruble slowly. And if I book a trip to Crimea, I have to get a Russian visa now.
Yes, you do, which is a shame because it's lovely here. And, speaking of yesterday, a local hotel where I am staying had already lowered the Ukrainian flag and then announced that they were now accepting rubles. And I thought, well, that was fast.
That didn't take long.